Dun, 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 dun.
Welcome, Internet, to episode 00 of Conjured Refreshments. Your hosts are Mike and Mystic. Let's start off by introducing ourselves. Mike, go first.
I'm Michael Shields, and I play a Night Elf Rogue, and have been since, like, forever, since Burning Crusade.
You're old.
Yes, I am very old. I got to 70, and mostly since then I've been doing PvP. I didn't really raid till Wrath of the Lich King. And then even then I did it on my healer, but mostly I just PvP on my rogue. And that's most of where my expertise is in PvP, but I like to play around with other classes and all that, so I like to learn all other aspects of the game. But and I'm starting my own channel, and it maybe will start eventually sometime when I figure out what to do. But
Just make videos.
yeah, just gonna make videos.
Make of your night elf rogue just dancing.
Oh yes, that'll be my first video. He will
Okay.
be dancing while I talk over his dancing. He'll be dancing to 60s music or something, I don't know.
Cool.
No, Michael Jackson, obviously.
Oh.
Anyway, that's me.
Alright.
I'm the rogue. It does rogue stuff.
Alright. I'm Mystic. I've been playing video games since I can remember. I play now a Brewmaster Monk. I started back playing WoW beginning of BC, I believe. I never made it to max level in BC, but during Wrath, I got my palette before Wrath started actually. I got my palette to level 55 so I can make a DK. I leveled my DK with a friend, and I raided in Wrath with my DK and my Paladin. Fast forward to Mist of Pandaria, they released the monks. I made my monk just to play around. And somewhere between 50-ish, I started tanking dungeons with her, and I haven't turned back since. I've been tanking with her since I got her geared, since the second tier in Mist of Pandaria.
Coleslaw.
Coleslaw, yes. Hey, coleslaw is very good.
I still say you should change your name to that.
I try to eat myself then.
Oh baby. You can cut that out if you want.
Oh no, it's all staying in, buddy.
Damn it. Anyway.
So, our topics we're going to talk about today: the heirloom vendors, hotfix,
Flying in Dreanor.
heirloom gear,
Class changes.
action broken.
And Garrison visitors.
Alright, let's start off with... Boop. They added a hotfix to the NPCs for heirlooms. So, now anytime you move around them, you get dismounted. And people can't be assholes like they were being when they first dropped it.
Oh yeah.
Did you run into that issue?
Yeah. It's pretty much, there was a giant mob of people, and the best chance you had was click on that exclamation point.
You had an exclamation point, huh?
What?
You had an exclamation point?
Yeah.
I sat there and clicked on somebody until I found they had the guy targeted already. And I used that in-game feature where you push the button to make it target that player, or that NPC.
Oh, I had a quest for it, so... well, actually, it's a question mark.
Oh,
So,
how'd you get that?
in the Garrison, there's a quest that sends you to him, so it's just like, oh, yeah, I'll go. Big mistake,
Oh.
but I'll go. Wasted
See,
all my gold that day. All my gold.
I went there because I'm in the process of leveling my rogue.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason I'm leveling her is because I want to be able to open up those damn lockboxes I keep getting.
I could open lockboxes, God. You don't have to go through all the trouble.
She's 94 now, man. She's going.
Oh, well, in that case.
And the fact I dropped 35K to gear up the heirloom stuff.
You just dropped 35K, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I can top that.
Well, the problem I ran into was, and this leads into our other topic, but I have stuff that won't show up in my tab. And here we'll go to the year one next.
Oh, yeah.
They add the collection system now, where if you go into the same window that has your pets, your mounts, your toy box,
Yeah.
Shift P by default. My heirloom gear from, I think, Winter's Grass won't show up in there.
Winners?
My
Oh.
yeah,
I completely forgot about that.
you're not the only one. I was actually flying with Lloydstrom to do Ice Crown yesterday. He forgot about that buff from the Alliance capturing Winter's Grasp.
Oh, yeah.
But
it's broken now. Can't go in there anymore.
yeah.
It's such a shame.
But my bank alt has so much gear that won't show up in the tab, which leading me to buy excess gear because I won the XP bonus on my rogue, which I'll also be dropping for my DK and my mage and my boomkin. Yeah, I got too many characters I play.
Well, the one thing I kind of like about the tabs, like, you know how you can create the heirloom now instead of mailing it? I really like you don't have to buy 2 daggers or 2 swords anymore. You just create 2. So you buy it once, create it twice.
Right, now
That
my
is
question
amazing.
is, once, and I haven't done it yet, but once I get to max level my character, can I just destroy those, or do I have to put them somewhere special?
Yeah, you just destroy them when you're done.
Sweet.
It's great.
Yeah, I was worried about that.
It's like back when you had to buy them and mail them and all that other mess. That is, you had to buy 2 swords, 2 daggers, so you're paying like for each one, and then you gotta mail those. And oh, and the other great thing is you can transmog your heirloom gear now, and
Can you?
you don't have to worry about it being gone when the transmog on it being removed every time you mail it. So you can just put the transmog on there and you just have it until it wears out, and then you just destroy the heirlooms and transmog whatever you have at that point.
I did not know about that transmogging feature.
Yeah, you could always transmog the heirlooms, but when you would mail it to an alt, the transmog's removed, and then you'd mail it back and the transmog's removed again. So really, it was kind of a hassle. So it's like, what's the point? But now you just transmog because you don't have to mail it. So
Nice. And the once you click 35 heirlooms items, which I think I have, but I can't use half of them, you get a mount. You got this mount yet?
Yep. That's one of the reasons why I went straight to the heirloom vendor when it opened. I was real close to getting the mount, so I'm just like, okay, I'll just buy a whole bunch of heirlooms. Plus, I needed the mail chest anyway for my hunter. Now my huntard has a very gay-looking vest, but we won't get into that.
It suits you perfectly, man.
It's like neon colors. It's weird. It doesn't match the rest of the heirloom set, so I'm...
But this mount, does it count towards your mount total?
Yeah. Kind of.
Cool.
It's 60% for your level 1s.
Level 1, huh?
Yeah. The little level 1s can drive all over the place. Well, pretend that someone is driving them all over the place. Even though you're the one doing the work.
Who are people still going to be leveling up from level 1? Now we can just buy level 90?
People that are as broke as me. I could see... I don't see someone paying $60 every single time they want a new class. I mean, there's a lot of people that they have a lot of ults. They want to try every class. There's like, what, 11, 12 classes or something?
Yeah.
And unless you're filthy rich, I doubt you want to pay the price of a game for 90 boosts. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. You pay the price of a brand new game. Like, I'm trying to think of something that just came out. Like Evolve. You could buy Evolve. It's a $60 game. Or you can boost a class to 90. Which you could have gotten the 90 anyway, the old-fashioned way, and save money. So it's really kind of a which one you would rather do sort of scenario.
Right. I like 90 boost because I've leveled so many characters.
I like it. I just think it's a little overpriced.
It is. I think once the vanity of it wears off, I think it might be dropped a little bit.
Maybe.
But I'm not gonna lie, I use that thing a lot.
I kind of wonder if future expansions, if they're gonna continue to include a free boost.
That would be a cool thing.
Yeah, because then you're getting supposedly a $60 value thing for free when you buy your game.
Well, that and the reason why Blizzard said they wanted to do this was so your friends could play with you immediately.
Yeah, and as it's getting insane as the levels get higher and higher, eventually going to be the level 1000, and at that point, who wants to level from 1? At that point, I'm sure Blizzard will be like, okay, everyone starts at level 950.
I'd hate to see the XP requirements for those levels.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you play your game, but me, I don't have my XP percentage showing anymore. I just have the bar showing how far up it's going.
Yeah, I just have the bar. It's just like this little bar next to my chat that rises, like fills with blue as I quest.
Yeah.
I can mouse over it and get all the details of how many bars and all that other junk, but I don't.
Yeah, when I did my race to max level in Cataclysm, it turned in like 5 quests and that bar didn't move. I was like, well, I'm not paying attention to that damn bar anymore. But do you think the price to upgrade your gear from 60 to 90, 90 to 100 is reasonable, or should they lower that, you think?
I think with how easy it is to get gold now, it's reasonable. I kind of iffy about why they're making weapons cost so much more. It's like, what was it, 5,000 gold to upgrade your weapon, and only like 2.5K for regular armor or something.
Yeah,
it's something like that. I remember it's like a big leap or something.
Yes, it's 2.5 for your chest, your offhand, and trinkets.
Yeah, all the normal armor. So that's fun. Yeah. And then for weapons, it costs so much more. I'm kind of, why is that when you're getting the XP boost from the normal armor? I mean, it seemed like normal armor just would be more value.
I can understand why that one's cheaper. The armor one's cheaper though, because you gotta buy that one more often. You gotta buy the weapon.
Well, yeah. I mean, really, I don't see why they make 2 different prices. Why can't it just be the same price? I mean, what's so special about weapon, right?
I agree, but they need the gold thing somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always go buy the Alliance Chopper for 100,000 gold. But
that thing looks like a bug, so I'll pass.
Next topic.
What, you don't want to talk how buggy it looks?
No.
Oh,
Go.
Flying in Dreanor. Yes. We thought flying would come in 6.1. It isn't.
Bastards.
Is it coming in 6.2? Probably not. They recently had an interview where they were asked just the questions that everyone else is wondering. Flying in Dreanor, when is it happening? And basically, to sum up everything here, it pretty much says soon. Trademark. That could mean it could happen. I mean, it could not. I mean, which is kind of sad because they said first patch. We could probably find it if we looked for it. They said first patch flying. But their reasonings are when you do quests, they don't want you to just fly in land on the cage, open the cage, fly out. They want you to go in there, fight your way in, open the cage, and then maybe fight your way out if everything spawns back.
Hold on, stop right there for a minute, though. I have a fix for this. Don't let druids do that anymore. Druids were the worst offenders of that feature.
Well, it's like, there's another way to prevent it without getting rid of flying. Have flying guards. I mean, come on. It's like any army has an aerial defense unit or whatever, or some way to defend against aerial stuff. Just have cannons along the fence so you can't fly over the fence and land on the cage.
Whoa, we're 35 years in the past here, man.
Yeah, but they have giant balls that roll around and hit things. They can make a cannon that shoots those same balls into the air at flying mounts.
That quest to roll around that ball is really fun.
It's like there's other opportunities to fix this stuff. As far as the quests go, if you have a quest where you have to go and there's a cage in the middle of a town, or whatever, just have aerial defenses within that town, because that makes sense. If they know you can fly, they're going to defend the air. So just have like a cannon that knocks you off your mount or something like that, so you can't just fly over. You have to actually fight your way in, and problem solved.
Are you really trying to put logic into World of Warcraft?
Put what?
Put logic into World of Warcraft.
Just a little. I mean,
there's
got to be some logic coming.
Okay.
Messing with my immersion, man. Messing with my immersion. I mean, what's the logical reason we're grounded? I mean, are our mounts just afraid to fly because the sky is a different color? Oh no, the sky doesn't smell right. I don't know if I should fly here.
Hey,
it's like, Drake, get in there. Like, it's like we needed special training to fly in the cold. It's like, really? I can't just put on a sweater.
They have to train you to put the sweater on.
Anyway, the other reason, which is a little more agreeable, is if you can fly, they can't do the hidden treasures, jumping puzzles, and yada yada yada. Which, in this expansion, I kind of like those. Like, in the Grand, you have to glide to a hidden item. Or there's other places where they're just, like, hidden around. And you have to actually solve the jumping puzzle and do all that. That's kind of fun.
Get Guild Wars 2 out of my WoW.
Well, it gives you something to do, but once you do it, then there's something like... It's kind of nice while you're leveling. But I think that is the perfect time to do it. While you're leveling, they can have all the jumping puzzles and everything you want, and just disable flying while you're leveling. You get the max level, you don't care about jumping puzzles anymore. You're ready for the real stuff. So I could see why they're saying that, but I don't see why it really has to matter at the max level.
Right.
But I mean, their team seems to be kind of happy not having flying, but they're also, it sounds like they're kind of debating it in their office. But
okay, so we gotta go to Blizzard's headquarters and get on the side that wants the flying, and we'll make it 51% to 49%. We win.
Oh yeah, we can totally do that.
Hey, but I was okay with the first few weeks, months not flying. I did enjoy having to use my ground mounts again to get from point A to point B to do the quest.
Yeah, that was a good idea. Like,
I was cool with that.
Yeah, I was fine waiting for the first patch too. I was like, oh, okay.
Now, I've been max level grand total 27 hours after the expansion launched. I want my flying back.
Yeah. You pay so much for it too.
Yeah.
Like 10,000 gold. Like, this is after you bought flying and everything, like basic flying and everything. 10,000 gold just to go faster. I mean, it's like you pour a lot of money into that, and then they say, oh, you can't use it now. New expansion. No. And I bet you the second they let you use it, it is going to cost another 4,000 gold or something, or 5,000 gold, or
probably.
And it's just, you're dumping so much money into something that they keep threatening to take away.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't seem right. Like, I don't mind not flying for the first patch cycle. I was okay with that, but now they're pushing it back, and it just seems, at this point, they need to make a decision and stick with it.
Right. I got some cool ground mounts. I got the Raven Lord, I got the motorcycle, I got the one out of Magister's Terrace, I forget the name of it, the Chocobo, the white one.
Chocobo.
But I got more cool flying mounts than I do ground mounts.
Yeah.
And I worked hard for those flying mounts.
I want to ride my freaking dragon, man.
Granted, I can ride my dragon on the ground, but...
Dragons don't look as good flying, riding on the ground.
Exactly.
Especially the proto dragons. They look so awkward just moving around. Like, they don't... I'm a flyer, man. Why are you making me walk?
Then this leads me to this question now. Would we have as much outrage right now as if they never gave us flying back in BC?
Well, no, because you don't miss something you never had.
Do you think we'd have people begging for it now, all these years later, if we never had it to begin with?
No, I don't think anyone would really notice it was missing if we'd never had it to begin with. It's one of those quality of life things that you don't really miss if you never had it.
Mm-hmm.
I think people would like to have it now. Like, right now, you'd see people on the forums like, hey, Blizzard, flying would be cool. Just because it's a cool idea, being able to fly over these zones and all that other stuff. I think in a way it's benefited the game a little bit because of the changes they were forced to make to accommodate flying. Like, you've seen Stormwind before flying was implemented, right?
Oh yeah.
It's just a cardboard cutaway held up by wood sticks. And now I feel like it adds more to the game as far as what they have to do now, where they have to actually design this full-on 3D sculpture instead of just it's a cardboard cutaway held up by sticks.
On the same token, though, them having to make all that special polygons and stuff has made the game require more beefier computers.
Yeah, but that was going to happen anyway. I mean, as technology improves, I mean, it's a little cheaper to get the lower end computers now that can sort of run the game. If you build your computer, you save a whole lot of money. A lot of people don't realize that.
Right.
Like there's a lot of people, like I hear like Alienware, but Alienware, you're paying for the brand, and I mean, it's a luxury item. Alienware, if you have a ton of money and you want to show it, buy an Alienware. But it's still... Or
you just drop $4,000 like I did and build your computer and go, ha!
Yeah, and you'll end up actually saving a lot more money building your own computer, especially if you do it smart, because you shop around for the parts. You find good deals online.
Yeah.
So if you're smart about it, you can easily meet the minimum requirements.
Yeah, you could.
To World of Warcraft and not really blow your wallet apart.
Right. Well, a lot of people don't understand now, I think, is WoW is more CPU dependent than GPU.
Yeah. That's something I think they should kind of work on changing. Because GPUs are progressing more than CPUs. CPUs are still kind of plateaued. Mostly because gaming systems kind of been doing that to the PC market recently. Gaming systems, basically, the gaming system can only go so far because you can't upgrade it, right?
Right.
And so when a game fully utilizes a gaming system, they can't do anymore. So why develop a special version for the PC that can utilize this new technology coming out when the gaming systems haven't caught up yet?
Right.
But now that the new gaming systems are out, we're going to probably see a boom in a lot of the games being made for the later technologies.
I hope
newer technologies.
So
it'll be nice.
Alright, so we've talked about the hotfix, we've talked about the flying in Dreanor, we've talked about the gear. We're going to go over some class changes now, if you're cool with that.
Sure. Things I know nothing about. Just kidding. Well, some
Well,
of them. There's some classes I haven't really.
First up here is DK. The Breath of Sindragos no longer has initial rune cost, but still applies the mark for blood DK. Do you have a max level DK? Because I sure as hell don't.
I'm working on a DK right now. It's only in the mid 80s, so I'm not like full on knowledgeable about this DK stuff. But from a non-DK point of view, it looks mostly like they're just trying to make it where non-blood DKs have less survivability, which I can see in like PvP standpoint.
Right. Now, I did use that breath back in the beta, and it wasn't worth it back then whenever you had to build the runic power to cast it, and it lasts as long as the amount of runic power you had.
Oh, yeah.
So it was never a talent I play with a lot because of that. Now,
And,
the rest
on sites that I was looking at for how to play my DK, they don't really mention Sindragos' breath that much either,
right.
from what I've seen.
Now, you got other stuff here that just survivability help.
Yeah. Yeah, taken a little bit from the other specs, but it looks like
Yeah.
Death Siphon does a little bit more healing or damage.
Right.
Now heals the Death Knight. 400. Yeah, more healing. I can read.
I'm proud of you. Defile now reduces damage for blood DKs. More survivability for a tank.
Yeah.
Chronic Plague damage increased by 20%. Now only generates rune power to blood Death Knights.
Yeah.
I'd have to play around with that, but
So it looks like they're kind of slight nerf to other Death Knights in favor of giving blood Death Knights a uniqueness or something.
right. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy playing a Death Knight. I just haven't had a chance to play
I
it.
assume it's more
full-on
just to
myself.
help the tanking side of things or something.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, Death
really
Knights are
overpowered.
kind of good at surviving, so maybe they're just helping with that.
Right. The Druids.
I know
Yeah,
nothing about druids, so
You know nothing about Druids?
no.
Well,
I do not have a druid.
Blistering Fur here, they're making survivability for Guardian Druids better. Right now, from everything I've read and seen, Guardian Druids aren't the best tank to have.
Oh, yeah.
So they're trying to make Guardian Druids more viable again.
Well, that's nice.
But yeah, these buffs seem more geared towards the Guardian side than anything else.
Yeah. A little
And we
bit
do
of
got-
healing, one thing
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah. So overall, apparently they're happy with the way the kitty cat form is, which I can't remember what the name of it's called right now. Feral. Feral, that's what
Yeah,
it's called.
Feral. Feral's not really getting anything.
Well, it is a very good class right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're a little hard to play, but
yeah.
that's kind of nice for some classes. It's a nice little skill. Your skill affects it more.
Right. The Hunter, they're
Pretty much
Just-
buffs across the board.
yeah. In the raids I've been running, Hunters are either really, really good or they really, really bad. There's no happy medium for a Hunter.
I haven't played my hunter since Wrath, really, so I'm not really caught up on it. But depending on the spec, I hear that the marksman hunters don't need pets anymore, though.
Why have a Hunter then? Isn't it part of your class to have a freaking pet?
Guess if you just want a sniper. look, guys! Look, guys! I'm playing Call of Duty. That's what it's going to turn into. When you go to Marksman Hunter, it goes to first-person view, gives you a crosshair. You just pretend you're playing Call of Duty, set in medieval times. That's where hunters are going.
Yeah. Mages is the same thing. I've had mages in the group where they do really good or they do really bad. And the worst part, just like the Hunter, it was the same player. Same fight, different week. It just changed that dramatically. I don't know if it's because they have a harder rotation or what.
It's a little finicky of a rotation. I just have a Frost Mage. I don't know about the other two specs, but I was looking at the other specs to see what I was going to play, and the other two seem a little more complicated. I haven't actually played them myself to know if they actually are, but they looked like it, so that's why I picked Frost. Yes, I picked the easiest one.
Hey,
but it's still kind of, their rotation seems kind of finicky. Like, you can really screw things up, or you can really do awesome. It's a toss-up. I say they nerfed mirror images for Frost, though. That's good. That was blowing things up. That
they did do a little bit of a buff to overtime there.
Yeah.
They only had a minute cooldown.
It needed it. It was actually not as good as it used to be when this came out.
Comet Storm damage has been increased.
Oh, yeah.
But see, this is where we'll talk later, but increased by 94%, but does 33.3% less damage in PvP combat. Remember that when we get down to our PvP topic.
Alright.
That's something that's driving me crazy forever. But anything else you want to say on the mage?
Looks like they're getting a little bit more survivability with the Evanescence change. Functioning more consistently.
Oh, whoa. We can't have that now.
I don't know. I tear them up with my rogue. They could use all the help they could get.
On the monks.
It's all you. Just sit back, enjoy my Dr. Pepper. Are we allowed to say Dr. Pepper? My Dr. Peeper. I don't know if we're... I'm sure we're good. I'm sure it's fine. You can cut that out, right?
Anyway.
I'll enjoy my soda. There we go. Soda's not copyrighted. Go on.
Wow.
Go on.
Now you're just being creepy.
I know. I can do that sometimes. But
No,
okay.
Thing with monks. Just so we know, I mainly do Brewmaster. I do Windwalker, which is a DPS spec. Occasionally, like LFR. I don't tank.
My monk is level. My highest level monk is level 44. So I'm sure you know more than me.
Well, we got the Ascension here, which increases the spirit and mana by 20%. Breath of the Serpent, which is a Mistweaver talent, which I've never played, because I don't heal, ever.
Why not? Healing's fun.
No, it's not for me.
Especially now that they changed healing so that it's more complicated.
Yeah, but healing increased by 50%, which is good, because Mistweavers have needed the extra oomph in healing. We actually do roll with a Mistweaver monk healing, and there are times where they're doing their job, but the charts and everything don't show it.
Oh yeah,
it's weird. Chi burst damage has increased by 51%.
The charts are the healer's worst enemy, in my opinion. All healers.
And there's a tank worst enemy too, but that's a different topic.
Oh yeah.
Chi burst. It's making it more viable. I don't use Chi burst. It just isn't as good as the other options you have at that talent level.
Oh yeah.
Chi explosion for Mistweaver has been increased. Chi torpedo. This is the one I'm wondering where they're trying to go with. The damage has increased by 150% and the healing has increased by 42%. Are they trying to get more DPS and healers to use that talent, or what?
I have no idea. What does Chi Torpedo do again?
You basically, instead of rolling towards people, you do like a spinny thing towards people.
A spinny thing?
Yeah, like a bullet, okay?
Is that the thing where they stick their foot in the air and then they fly?
No. That's a different spell that I can't remember because it's only for not tank specs.
Oh, okay.
And tank spec 90% of the time.
Well, I don't think I've used a Chi Torpedo yet then.
Probably not. But I'm trying to figure out if they're trying to get the DPS to go towards that more. Because currently you don't take that one in your DPS rotation. Hurricane Strike for Windwalker has been increased by 25%. Windwalker is in a weird situation right now where they buff and nerf them left and right, it feels like.
Well, it's a newer class, so I kind of expect that. Because they don't... Like the established classes, they kind of have a handle on.
Right.
But I feel like whenever they add a new class, they kind of... Like Death Knights did that for a while.
Oh, yes.
I think it's just them kind of figuring out what they want to do with the class still.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably by when we get in the next expansion, they'll probably actually establish a little bit more stability with that class.
I can't wait for that.
Well, you might have to.
No, I mean, meaning I want it to happen like now, and I want the next expansion now, so I don't have to play this game anymore.
We all want balance now. We ain't gonna get it. We want it now.
The Ring of Peace buff makes it more viable to take now over your other towns there. It was one of the weaker towns you could take from that tier. And the Zen Spear improvement, which actually has me surprised.
Oh, yeah?
Damage increased by 97%, and healing increased by 70%. That's the talent every tank I know takes now. And every blog I've read takes. Yeah, they tank it. Every blog I read takes it. It just gives you more of a healing overall, for mainly yourself, because that's what you're more concerned about right now, is healing yourself as much as you can to help your healers out. Especially if you're doing the initial pull opposed to being the off tank. But that's a discussion why monk tanks are where they're at, and we'll get there down the road. But yeah, that Zen Spear one actually has me surprised. I was actually expecting a nerf on that one. Anything else on monks you want to say?
I'm just looking up the Chi Torpedo, seeing what other people's thoughts are on it. It doesn't look like it's really changed in its position, though, of whether it's taken or not.
Okay. For
Windwalkers, anyway. I'm looking at the Windwalker stuff.
Paladins.
Just a high burst AoE, I mean, it's about it.
Right. Paladins. I used to roll Paladin for years. I don't know. Have you rolled Paladin yet?
My Paladin that I have, it's protection. When I get max level, I'm probably going to do healing and tanking with it. My wife does the retribution thing. She's been doing it as long as I've been playing rogue almost.
Yeah, she's doing that since I've known her.
She would know more about it than I do when it comes to ret. I'm still kind of rusty on tanking, but...
Well, the Empowered Seal thing is interesting because I don't know if you've seen it or talked to your wife about it. But
yeah, it's like the seal dance, or
yeah, stance dance, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't that effective.
I was hearing a lot of things about that. How it's just not worth the trouble.
Yeah, no. Whenever I hit max level, I picked that talent first because I was like, "Oh, cool!" So I'll just map these buttons now and have more buttons to push in the paladin, because that was my problem with the paladin. I didn't have much to push, and the DPS.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of
gain
from push on those.
No,
it's kind of boring sometimes.
Yeah, the DPS you gained from it wasn't anywhere near what you get with Final Verdict. Execution stance, healing done by state of execution. I'm assuming that's a prot spec or a prot ability.
Well, that one actually could help in PvP with Retribution Paladins.
It could? Yeah,
their healing is hurt a little bit by the nerf to Flash Flight.
Okay.
So it may be to help them, give them a way to be a better support while they're waiting for their burst or something. I'm not sure exactly the effect it'll have on PvP, but I'm sure it'll help them.
Cool. The final verdict radius decrease. I love that because there were so many times whenever I was first running heroics with my paladin, I would do my divine storm and break every fucking CC there was.
Yeah, my wife was doing that too. It's like you never know when it's going to be 100% radius, and next thing you know, you're breaking blind or sap. Or...
Yeah. Almost as bad as the damn hunters that do multi-shot on CC targets.
Yeah.
Hand of Purity now reduces damage you taken by 15% up by 10. I remember using that. That is a significant increase for them. For healing paladin, Sacred Shield reduced mana cost. As I bumped my mic, sorry about that. Reduced by 34%, which didn't help out because Ursula in our guild just recently started doing a Holy Paladin for our raids until we get into the next raid environment. And I noticed last weekend he had mana issues a lot of the time.
Oh, yeah.
And that was on farm bosses. Then they removed some glyphs, which, meh.
Oh, glyph of Alabaster Shield's gone?
Yeah. And Glyph of Harsh Words is only available for Holy Paladins now, so...
Alabaster Shield, what was that one again? I think I might have actually had it.
I don't recall what that one was for.
I thought it was like a prot thing, like it dealt with your finishing move thing, whatever it is.
It did something.
Well, we can agree it did something. Oh well, I guess if we don't remember, we won't miss it, right?
Hey.
I think it dealt with Shield Righteous, if I remember right.
I want to say you're right. Like I said, it's been so long since I've done Correction Paladin. Glyph of Alabaster. Are you looking at now too?
Yeah. It's, and it brings up the item Alabaster. I want the item, I want the glyph. The insolence. Your master Google is screwing with me.
Hey. You leave Google alone.
It was your successful blocks increase the damage of your next Shield of the Righteous by 10%. Stacks up to 3 times.
Yeah, that's why I took it.
So that's gone now.
Uh-huh.
So it just dropping the damage, I guess, on what tanks do.
Yeah, but I think, again, I haven't really prop paladin. I think one of the Dreanor perks you get does something else that could justify removing that. But priest. Do you play a priest?
Yet again, it's another one I am working on. I have mine mine just now got to level 58, but I'm leveling her as Shadow and Discipline.
Well, there you go. We're both leveling. We both level the same way. I can talk well today, can't I?
Oh yes, you're very whatever the fancy word is for being able to talk well.
So just looking over this, spells I don't recall using. Hey, I got her 91, okay? She's in the Garrison making me bags.
Yeah, all these spells. Oh, Mindbender. I know what Mindbender is.
What's it do, Mike?
It replaces your little minion dude with another squid that floats. It's interesting. It's like a buff for your minion. It's a talent.
Okay.
It's kind of like a buff, just to make your minion hit harder or something like that, or give more mana.
I haven't had any priest actually. No, I haven't. Raid with us this expansion so far. So I don't know how they're faring as far as healing, but we got a holy buff here.
Maybe that tells you right there. no one plays priests because they suck. I don't know how priests are doing either.
So rogues, all you, man. I'm gonna sit back and drink my iced tea, which isn't trademarked.
Don't get too comfortable. This won't take long. As you can see, only 3 changes to rogues because Blizzard hates us. No, rogues are really pretty much in a good place right now, I feel. So I think that's what Blizzard feels too. That's why they didn't really change that much. I noticed they changed. Well, I guess we could start with Burst of Speed. Has a cooldown of 3 seconds. That really doesn't change much.
What did it have before?
I can't even remember. I never took it.
Oh, okay.
Most raiding rogues will take Shadow Step simply because it doesn't cost any energy. It's just a free move to the boss. Burst of Speed you only really take if you're PvPing or if the fight needs you to move a lot, like you can't wait for Shadow Steps cooldown or something. But I think it's more of a PvP change, just because Burst of Speed is kind of on the OP side of PvP. It's spammable, it removes movement pairing effects. What more could you want?
Jeez.
I usually take it if I need to move around like an instance real quickly, or if I'm doing something where I have to move quickly. But for the most part, it's not really. In the other talent, I couldn't really tell you off the top of my head what it is. The other one in that. Yeah, that's what I was telling him. But it was a spammable. Now it's 3 seconds. Here. Oh, the other one was Cloak and Dagger. That's another one no one takes because bad.
You're a bad rogue if you take that talent, huh?
Oh. You. Add. You. I can't get it to mute. Oh my god. I don't know if that'll end up on my recording, but there's a cat ad that showed up on this page I'm looking at, and it was loud.
Okay.
So, ad
Mike
for
likes
cat
cats.
food, maybe in my recording. So, if you want to buy IMs, that's...
Back on topic. That's from above.
Anyway. Okay, Shadow Step is mostly what rogues take, and I think they'll still take it. The 3 second cooldown doesn't really... It's a nerf to burst speed, so it doesn't give any more reason to take it, and they did nothing to Cloak and Dagger, so whatever. It's a thing. It's just a talent that's really good in PvP.
Okay.
And they're just making it less good. Death from Above, they're trying to make that a little more tantalizing for rogues to take. It's not working. It's one of those talents that I'm kind of sad about, but at the same time, Blizzard doesn't know how to make it appealing to people who want to min-max. It costs too much energy. That's the plain and simple of it, and that's what they did not fix.
Okay.
What they did here, they just buffed it and they made it increase the duration of Envenom, so maybe Assassination Rogues would take it. But you lose too much by spending that 50 energy. It's just that plain and simple. You lose too much uptime on your Envenom. Even Subtility, you can take. It's more optimal in Subtility, and even then, you don't really want to take it, just because it's a hassle to even fit into Subtility because you gotta save up the energy, you gotta pull just right, you got all this other nonsense. So it's really not worth taking, even with the buffs, just because that 50 energy is just, it's gonna plague the talent until they do something about that. I don't know what to do, but it looks cool. The actual animation for it is awesome. So that is why I'm sad. I want it to be on the level of the other two, but it's not yet. let's hope next run they fix that, but hopefully without nerfing the other two. And as far as the leeching poison, that's more of a PvP gain, I would say. I guess it could help out your healers too, but really if you're raiding, you want to take cheat death, because if something's going to kill you because you're an idiot, you're standing in the wrong place, cheat death will save you. It's idiot protection. So
But the fire gives me a buff.
Do what?
The fire gives me a buff.
Oh yeah, that's why you pick cheat death. It's stupid protection. It protects you from stupid. Take it. All they really did the leeching poison though is they made it a leech instead of they just simplified the wording is all that really does, because they like their new terminology. Oh yeah, leech. That's a thing we put on gear. Why not put it on abilities? I don't know.
Definitely.
We want a leech, man. You want a leech. But the fact that it no longer applies a poison effect to the target, I don't really think that matters, because if you're playing assassination, the poison effect you want on the target is your deadly poison. So it doesn't really affect anything that way. And Shiv effect remains unchanged. Oh well, who cares? You don't take it anyway, so it's too weak of a heal, really. They need to buff it up a little bit before rogues even consider it. But
Okay.
even in PvP, it's not really that big a deal. You'd still take cheat death. I mean, cheat death is really kind of the bully of the three. It's like, you don't want those other two. You want me. No, you want me. That's pretty much it. It's saying it. Just like Shadow Step. It's just, if they want to fix these talents, they need to try a little hard in that, is all I have to say.
Alright, so we get to move on to the shamans?
Yes, we can move on to shamans. Oh, the shamans. This I am a little disappointed in.
Okay, why?
They're not doing enough. 2 lines here. I mean, come on, shamans are broken, and we're just gonna dedicate 2 lines to them of changes. Shamans have been in a awkward place since their conception. They are like the mutated stepchild of the classes for some reason, and it's like Blizzard doesn't know what to do with them. It's like in vanilla, they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna make it where shamans can tank and all this cool stuff, and then they ended up with a threat ability that they carried around that they couldn't use because why?
I remember that ability.
They finally take it out when they do their ability pruning, but that has been in my spell book since I started my shaman. And it just sits there staring at you, asking you, why don't you use me? And now they finally just got rid of it. So it's just, shamans have always just been so broken. And towards the end of an expansion, they get to a decent place, and then Blizzard starts a new expansion and is just like, screw you, shamans. So really, I really expected more here. But yeah, Ancestral Guidance now triggers from all damage or healing dealt, includes most strikes instead of only direct damage or healing. That's a buff to healers, obviously. I guess that could be a PvP buff too.
Right.
Give them a little more survivability. Storm Elemental Totem damage and healing is increased by 30. Also another survivability healing buff, which healers kind of needed. Their throughput was kind of a little lackluster, but overall, not much in shamans. Blizz is still kind of ignoring them, I guess.
Well,
just hiding them in the basement.
in the basement.
They're the Harry Potter of the classes. One day they will do amazing things, such as try and kill Voldemort.
Well, I'm on Gnostic right now looking at the DPS rankings, and Elemental is number 9 overall, and Enhancement's number 11. And at 666 gear, they're number 3, Elemental is.
Yeah,
enhancement.
they're not like suffering as far as DPS or anything, but it's just that their highest potential is 10th. It's like don't dream of going any higher than.
Okay.
I mean, they're not like in such a horrible place that don't play your shaman ever. Just delete them. They're not in that place, but they do need they need some help.
Okay.
And they're not getting it. Is my problem with it.
Damn you, Blizz! Fix shamans. I did my part, man.
I mean, it's like okay, I've been leveling my shaman from 90 as
yes,
elemental.
I need another healer in my group.
I've been leveling her as elemental, right?
No, healer.
The playstyle of elemental feels so sluggish that you feel like you can read a book before the mob is dead. Because everything is cast, and everything is a long cast. And that just feels horrible to me. And enhancement shamans, they're just doing lackluster DPS, and I mean you can still bring them to the raid, but you kind of want to bring something else to the raid. And Blizzard's ignoring them, but I guess we wait till the next patch cycle. See what happens.
Okay. Warlocks. You play a warlock?
I used to. I've sort of dabbled with him. He's at 90 right now. I sort of dabbled with him. I started leveling a little bit, but I haven't really got a good grasp on any of the changes since MOP. But he's at 90. Actually, he's at 91. I got one level with him.
Looking over this, from what I recall from leveling my warlock, which damn, I was proud that he finally made it to max level in an expansion. I leveled at demonology, and I did a lot of my heroics as demonology, and I don't recall half these abilities.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing for mine is demonology.
I do remember
just
Grimoire
get
of
such cool
Sacrifice.
pets at demonology. I mean, why pick anything else?
And that's what confused me about the warlock with the Grimoire of Sacrifice.
Yeah.
I level with pets. I raid with pets. Now I have a talent that sacrifices my pet, and I do more damage.
Yeah, that one's more of a kind of a is the sacrifice worth the loss kind of thing.
Right.
I don't know if I worded that right, but it's your pet is, especially demonology, your pet is such a big deal that if you're at a point where you can sacrifice it, then it's rare, but it means something, obviously. But also, I believe there's a way to instantly bring them back, though.
There is.
So you just gotta kind of weigh the benefits over the sacrifice.
And that Kill Jane's Cunning, I like that whenever I was able to run and cast at the same time.
Right.
Now you gotta actually push the button for that. So. Warriors.
Yeah.
I never used Avatar on my warrior because I was also in that same.
I've never gotten a warrior past 35s.
Really?
I make them. I get them to like 35-ish, and then they're deleted.
What's the other talent with Avatar in there? Oh.
It's long. The other talent for Avatar with Avatar?
Oh. In the same tier, you got Avatar, you got Bloodbath and Bladestorm. Everything I read and everything I do, you want to take a Bloodbath. It's just a great DPS increase. No, if you have something with a lot of ads, then you're going to take a Bladestorm. But most of the time, you're going to take a Bloodbath.
One of those talents. The bully talents.
Yeah. It's useless.
It seems like this patch cycle they've been trying to make other talents more appealing, but they just they missed.
Yes.
Like it's a hit and a miss.
Or they tried to, like, for the example of the monk, they tried to make the other talents more helpful, but at the same time, you're buffing the same talent that everybody's been taking.
Yeah, it's they want to make it where you have more options, but they're going about it the wrong way.
Right.
Like for the Death from Above talent, they put the effort, but they failed to see what made that talent so weak compared to the other two.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like they've done that consistently throughout this patch cycle.
The second wind increase is nice.
Yeah, second wind was really doing a lot less than it used to. I remember back in the day, second wind was a pain for rogues.
Siegebreaker. I've never been a fan of knockback abilities. I don't know how much damage they do.
Yeah, me either. I mean, in PvP they're annoying, in raids they're annoying.
In PvP I can understand.
Well, I can understand it in PvP, but when your teammates don't realize how to use it properly in PvP, that's when it gets annoying. Because it's like you're about to kill someone, and then a druid walks up and pushes them away from you. And then you want to yell at the druid and stab them several times. just like I'm going to say this for Death Knights 2. Do not death grip something away from me when I'm about to kill it. That is the most annoying thing in the world. When you're about to kill someone, they get death gripped away from you, and that gives them the time to heal or whatever, because the Death Knight hasn't ramped up to being able to do burst or something, or whatever's wrong with them.
But for me being a tank, I've always hated knockback abilities.
Yeah.
So, the Siegebreaker, granted damage was increased by 50%, but the knockback was also increased by 50%. So,
yeah, I hate when people use a knockback and they aggro something else.
Yes.
That is the worst.
I see it more of a PvP talent than I see as a PvE talent.
Yeah.
And
I mean, even PvP as a melee, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know how warriors really work, but it feels like as a melee, you wouldn't want to push your opponent back unless you need time to heal, I guess. But
right, or you're knocking them off of a cliff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's plenty of opportunities in Battlegrounds to do that, especially if you do Eye of the Storm.
But in Slam, arms damage increased by 43%. Just a nice increase for them. I know more people would play Fury over arms just because you get more damage from Fury.
Yeah.
Alright, our next topic, your favorite one.
Asheran is broken. It's been fixed since, but when 6.1 launched, there was a problem. You can go into Asheran, but good luck getting a group, because no one can invite you to a group. And according to the forums on that one, you also could not whisper somebody.
So you were stranded in this big open battleground area by yourself.
Yes, you were by yourself pretty much. Apparently, if you invited someone in the group in Asheran, they auto-declined your invite. So
they're just being assholes.
Good luck. And you kind of need the groups because you have to do events in there, and that's how you get your. Especially now because of the change they made. The bosses, the Trimblade and the other guy, they don't give you conquest anymore, and the reason for that was is coming to a point where Horde and Alliance were making a truce. Alliance would kill the bosses and get their cap, their conquest cap, and the Horde would do the events and get their conquest cap, and neither one would have to really bother each other. So that's the reason for the fix. But if you can't make a group for the events to get like group-wide progress, what's the point?
So we were working towards world peace, and Blizzard's like, "Oh, we can't have world peace."
Yeah. Blizzard likes to do that. I mean, like all those points in the story when it's like it looks like that the Horde and Alliance are finally going to begrudgingly work together, and then all of a sudden you get a garage. Just throw a garage in there.
No. This didn't affect me because I don't PvP. But just like going back to that mage talent where it does X amount percent more during PvE, but does X amount percent less during PvP. Why can't more abilities do that? They've been nerfing abilities because they do too much in PvP.
Yeah, Blizzard's kind of shaky on that, and I don't really like that they are. They're not one to take a stance on it, and that's causing a problem. Because one minute they do what you just said, like we just saw in the notes, they split the ability. It does this here and this there, and then the next minute they're saying, like, I could probably actually look up a quote if I knew where to look. It's buried deep within the void of the forum somewhere. But I know there is one where Blizzard says they don't want the abilities to be split like that. Like, they say that and then they do it, where it's split. And they just keep going back and forth on this issue, and it's... They don't want where... They think it would be too confusing, is their stance. They think if an ability did one thing here and another thing there, people would just be like, what? And they think it would make the game feel divided, like it's two separate games. Like PvP is one game and PvE is just a totally different game. But really,
they're doing that by them buffing it one way and nerfing it the other way.
Yeah, and they say they don't want to do that, and then they go and turn around and, oh, hey, we're going to do it. And that, I don't like that they're doing that. They need to just take a stance and stick with it if they're going to do it. But PvP, to me, already feels like a totally different game than PvE. Like, not even with the different functions of abilities. It already feels like a different game. Because in PvE, you're fighting against a scripted event, and as long as you get your routine down and everything, I'm not saying it's like super easy or anything. I like the PvP too. PE too. You're fighting against a scripted event, and there's really no unexpected happening. There's no random guy entering that you didn't expect to come in or anything like that, other than, like we talked about, where someone pushes a mob into other mobs and chain pulls them.
Right.
Sometimes you get that asshole in the raid, but usually it's pretty contained. Whereas PvP, it's always, you don't know what you're going up against. You can go up against a skilled player, you can go up against a bad player, you can go up against one player and a rogue suddenly ganks you. It's constantly changing, and that makes it feel like a different game for me. And that's why I like switching between the two. If I get bored of one version of World of Warcraft, I go to the next version of World of Warcraft.
Well, now you're starting to come to my raids, but yeah.
I enjoy both parts, really, like, equally.
Cool.
Slightly enjoy PvP a little more. I've always really liked the strategy side.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they need to just pick something and stick with it. I think it would be a lot better if they went with what they're doing with the mage thing and just did that for all classes. I mean, even stuns work differently in PvP. I mean,
you got diminishing return.
Yeah,
more, don't you?
Diminishing return. They're shorter. There's a cap. There's like, I think it's 8-second cap on the longest a stun can last, and they just need to just go full bore on that, I think, and just, all right, we're just going to make it where it's split down the middle. It does this in PvP, does this in PvE. And people, I think when they say people will get confused, I think that statement is pretty much saying they think the WoW player base is dumber than they are. It's
True.
Like, yeah, there are some pretty stupid people that play WoW, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But most people are smart enough to understand, okay, it does this here, this there. I mean, and given time, eventually everyone will understand this, and it'll just be like, it won't even be a thing. And
No.
I think Blizzard needs to take the stance that, okay, we're going to commit to this idea, not we're going to do this and then say this.
Right. One thing I've really enjoyed about Blizzard is they can see something from another game and take it and make it better.
Yeah.
Rift, when I played that game, their abilities is something completely different in PvP. Well,
Yeah.
they didn't call it PvP there. I think they call it something else, but
Yeah, I was
think
playing
I did.
Rift. A little too complicated for me, but
that's why I enjoyed the complication. But you either had abilities that just didn't work in PvP because they were too overpowered for it, or when you went into PvP Battleground, it changed its mechanic completely.
Yeah.
I want us to do that in World of Warcraft.
yeah, and they should. That's kind of the stance I would take on it. Is it should do something different in PvP. I mean, there's no reason why not, and the reasons Blizzard give just don't make sense. But they seem to want to stick by that whenever someone brings it up on the forums or something. That's their response: is we don't want it to feel like two different games. We don't want to confuse the player base. And it's like, just stop, Blizz. Think about it, and just
Right.
And when they do it, like little bits like that, like they did for the mage patch notes, when they do that, it's like they're too afraid to go full commitment on it, and they're like, oh, let's see how this goes over. Oh, let's see how this goes over. And it's just like, no, just do it. Just go for it. If it turns out bad, you could always undo it. That's the beauty of a game. You write the code. If it sucks, you delete the code.
Mm-hmm. That's why we have a thing called PTR, isn't that?
Yeah,
we have a PTR, right? Yeah, let's try it on there.
Yeah, and I don't think they really utilize the PTR to the full extent it can be.
No.
It seems a lot of times things that really should have been caught in the PTR should have been, just aren't, and they should have been.
The problem I have, I've done the beta for MoP and Warlords, and all the bugs I reported in MoP weren't there whenever the game launched. A lot of the bugs I reported in Warlords was there on launch day. There was a sign or a billboard in one of the questing areas. If you jumped behind it, you couldn't get back out. No matter how hard you tried, you couldn't get back out. You'd use your Hearthstone or the stuck feature. I reported that bug twice, I think. And it's now fixed. I've tested it.
Yeah, it's like when they're getting so much feedback that they don't have time to read it all, and they're just saying, okay, we're reaching the deadline to release this game, just screw it, we'll fix everything else as we go.
And personally, I'd prefer a pushback on launch date opposed to releasing a game
I want a
that has
more
the bugs.
polished game. I don't want a buggy game that's all broken everywhere. I mean, I get that, just the general fact that it is an MMO,
mm-hmm.
that it's constantly changing, constantly releasing patches. I get that not everything's going to be perfect all the time. There's going to be broken things, because it's just constantly, it's a living animal of its own, kind of, and it's growing pains.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they're properly using beta or public test realm anymore. They seem to be slacking on it.
Yeah.
And another part of that is, it doesn't seem like a lot of players actually utilize the public test realm on the player side of things. Because it seems like the public test realm, when I look at population, it's so small compared to like a beta or the live even, and anyone can get in the public test realm.
Mm-hmm.
And as a player, if you're really concerned about how the game's going to turn out, go on the public test realm and participate. And because a lot of things need more players to actually test, like for instance, Ashran. You actually need a lot of players in Ashran to fully test what it can handle.
Right.
Or to test the balance. You can't have just 5 players queue for Ashran on each side and hope that the system successfully balances them.
Right.
You can't balance 5 players. There's going to be 3 on one side, 2 on the other side.
No, I know there's a lot of talk about that too. You know, the players aren't utilizing the PTR enough, and I believe the devs have said that too, that the players aren't utilizing enough. The problem is you're basically re-downloading the entire game to do a PTR.
Yeah, that's something they could probably work on. There's probably a way that they can copy your files over to a PTR file.
Right.
And have you work off that.
And
another thing is your settings.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get your settings from live onto PTR. So as soon as you get on PTR, you also have to mess with that.
Right. But back to that download thing, a lot of places in the United States have a data cap.
Yeah.
If you download a 26 gig game, you're getting close to your data cap for that month.
Yeah.
So I understand why players don't want to download it. If they can do something like you said, all right, download this 5 megabyte file that copies your normal WoW folder over to this PTR folder, and you download a 2 gig patch. That's more feasible, and I think if they do something like that, more players would probably want to play.
Yeah. And I think another thing they could do is a little more advertisement for it, because when a public test realm does open, it's on the forums. That's it. You don't see anything on the Battle.net launcher. You don't see like, hey, come join the public test realm, help us test out this new patch or anything. You don't see that, and I think that would also kind of help, along with the better download system or better system for getting it.
Yeah, I also think the CMs do post on Twitter about that stuff.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's good about the whole them starting to use Twitter thing is they get it out there in a few more places.
Right.
Some people don't realize that you have a word limit on Twitter and try to still forum post to them on Twitter, as I've noticed on some blue posts when they try and ask them to stop.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I get they're answering you more on Twitter, but that doesn't mean you need a 50-paragraph post on what you hate about the game on Twitter.
Right.
I can see the devs' problem with that.
Right.
Just Twitter spam of one person trying to get their issue.
Oh, I can imagine their Chrome at work. Bloop, 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 bloop. Or their phones.
Like, oh my god, why did we set up a Twitter account? Why did the boss make me do this? I think a lot of it equally lands on both the players and the devs to make this game what it can be.
Yes.
The devs can only do so much. The players need to provide the feedback. The players need to participate in the public test realm. The players need to participate. Well, the players, as far as beta goes, that's invite only, so I can sort of see that. It's Blizzard controls who goes in there. But when public test realm, anyone can do that. Right. And I think it's on Blizzard's end to advertise it more, make it easier to obtain, do something to make it where it's a lot easier and a lot more efficient for a player to move over. You just log into the test realm and it should be set up for you the way you prefer it. For instance, when I play the game, I use a Razer Nomstro that it's like one of those game pads that your whole hand fits on, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And so my key bindings are for that. And I go on the public test realm and my key bindings aren't set up. So if I want to play public test realm efficiently, I have to spend that extra time setting up. Right. Whereas why can't I just copy over my keybind file and there you go. You're set to go. I've even tried that. I've tried to copy my WoW file over to the public test realm file and it just makes everything go crazy. And not even the whole WoW file. I'm just moving over to settings and it's just like, what are you... Starts
Get
cussing
that
at
old
me.
piece of shit out of here.
And so it's really on both ends. Players need to post more on the forums. A lot of times someone will find some sort of buggy thing or something and they'll just say it in guild chat or they'll say it in party chat or, hey, look at this buggy thing, but they won't actually do something like put in a feedback or put something on the forums or something for Blizzard to maybe read. We don't know if they read the forums, but maybe Blizzard can stumble across it and just saying it in guild chat isn't going to get it fixed. Just saying it in whisper to somebody isn't going to get it fixed. If more players would just put it on the forums, you don't even have to put a mean post.
No.
All you have to do is say, hey, Blizzard, this is broken, fix it.
Well, and I think they haven't done a very good job. They haven't done a very good job of putting this in there. It's in the game, the bug report feature in the game.
Yeah, it's a little clunky, but
it is, and they haven't, in my opinion, spotlighted it enough, so players know it's there.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
that's all I use in the beta.
Especially when you're trying to open a ticket. Like, it used to be so easy to open a ticket. You just open a ticket, type what you want, you wait. Now it's like they come to this point where they want the automated system to do all the work, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to open a ticket, you have to do all these stupid little drop-down menus, and then it might take you to a solution to your problem rather than have a GM talk to you. Or it might just list a bunch of solutions to not your problem. And you have to still go through all that just to get to being able to make the ticket. And it feels like such a hassle just to open a ticket. It's like I just need a little note that says, hey, check the popular fixes or whatever it's called, and before typing here, just like a little note, that's all, and that'd be fine. And it's like, oh, okay, I'll go check that, or I just open a ticket.
I understand where you're going with that. Whenever I have to call some company, I have to use that automated crap. The second I get the chance at zero to get a real person, I do. However, I do see their point of making us do all that, because
they want to reduce volume of what's coming in so they can more efficiently help other customers.
Right.
I've learned about it in my PC support classes in college. It's a method of delegating the responsibility to an automated system. But I feel like if you want to open a ticket, it should be a little more clear of how to do it. Because the way they're doing it, it's not clear how you get to the opening ticket part. Like, if you absolutely positively know that this is a problem unique to you, and you want to open a ticket, you have to pretty much lie to the automated system to get it to open a ticket.
I've never done that before.
And so there needs to be, they could have the automated system, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
There just needs to be a way to circumvent the automated system if you're sure that the automated system can't help you.
Like pushing zero on the phone.
Press 0. Like, if you want to talk to a human, press 0. I understand the automated system. I get that. I've done PC support class. I've pretty much learned all this stuff like that they probably know, and they could be streamlined a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Make my time as a customer a little easier. Especially if it's like me, who I've been to PC support school. I know it's not delete your WTF interface and cache.
Right, but like you said,
sometimes that's the fix, but no.
Like you said, you went to PC school, and the first thing they teach you there is you have to assume everybody's stupid.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term.
Everyone's an ID 10T error.
Yeah. You have to tell them to turn their monitor on for them to see their desktop.
Yes.
And ask them for computers.
But they also teach you, do it in a way where you're not calling them stupid.
Exactly. There's a pile of shit. Let me sprinkle some cinnamon on it. See, it smells pretty now.
But I mean, with the automated system, that does that for you.
Right.
If I want to talk to a human, I want to talk to a human. I mean, sometimes you just don't want to go through the automated system like 50 layers in to get your answer.
It's an ogre. All right. Last topic. Garrison visitors.
Yes, Garrison visitors.
You forgot about this one, didn't you?
Huh?
Did you forget about this one?
No, I didn't.
This is a cool feature that they added. I like the you get different daily quests to go do certain things. Kill a boss, go find this, or give me primal spirits. No, it's not primal spirits. What are the things called?
Give me stuff and I'll give you stuff.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I like this, and it's also encouraging more people to play together, because I may have this one, but you have the one I need. I gotta group with you and go to your garrison.
Yeah, it encourages a little more interaction, but I feel it's a little clunky. But
what do you mean?
It just feels like, for instance, if I want to get all the quests today,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to find one person for each of those. And then after I go through all the work to find those people, I have to go to their garrison, one at a time, just keep hopping garrisons. You're garrison hopping.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, I get it. I get that they want people to be a little more social with each other and all that, but it feels like, I don't see how they could streamline a little bit, but it just feels kind of clunky. Just you're kind of popping into everyone's garrison.
One way they could streamline it is in the guild UI.
Yeah,
is
that'd be nice.
Say what Slaw has for today's daily, what Michael Luce has for today's daily, stuff like that, and go, hey, Mike, let me come see your garrison.
Yeah. And, it'd be nice if there's another way to actually hop from garrison to garrison other than switching leader. It'd be nice if you could just right-click on someone in your party's name and say, view this person's garrison.
Yeah, that would be a nice feature to have.
Because right as is, it's like, okay, I'm inviting 5 people to my party. Okay, I'm going to pass leader to you. We're all going to go to your garrison. Then we'll pass leader to someone else. We'll go to his garrison.
Yeah, that is a very
it's like, come on.
way. I mean,
just throwing around leader. Here's the crown. Now give it to him. Now give him the crown. Now give.
I'm cool with the garrison hopping part, but like I said, if we would have it in the guild UI, and like you said, being able to visit anybody's garrison that you're in a party with, without passing that crown around, I think that would be a better implementation of this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice way to socialize, especially since the garrison sort of took socializing out.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't AFK in my garrison.
Jumping around the fountain.
Maybe. Hey, this fur takes a lot of shampoo, okay?
I mean, one of the things when garrisons did come out that I would kind of had a problem with was trade chat was in your garrison. Yeah, I was kind of on the fence about that because it kind of completely took out all your reason to go to Orgrimmar. Because what are the other cities? Who knows?
He meant Stormwind. Sorry, guys.
Oh, yes, Stormwind. I'm not horrid at all. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's like you could pretty much set up your garrison so you never have to go to Stormwind at all. You may have to hop over to the Alliance version of Warspear.
Storm Shield?
Yes, Storm Shield. You may have to hop over there a little bit every now and then, but between those two, between your garrison and that place, that's all you need. And I feel if they would have removed trade from garrison, you could still talk to other people in their garrison through general. But like a general chat, it pretty much works the same way. Looking for blah blah blah, someone's garrison. But for trade, it's like I could just sit in my garrison, trade people, and there's a mailbox right there. I never have to leave my garrison. I could troll people in my garrison without anyone being able to touch me.
Yes, because being able to troll people in Stormwind, people being able to come talk to you.
Yeah, at least then they could come and like mount up on their.
Slap?
They could mount up on their mammoth and just cover you.
Oh no!
Like a nuisance. Just be a nuisance to you.
And you can't move. Oh my god!
It's like before is like looking for someone to trade me this, and you would be like, okay, I'm here in Stormwind. I'm in this location of Stormwind. Now it's just, okay, I'll invite you to the party. I'll give you, you give me lead, and you come to my garrison, and we'll trade. And then leave.
Get out.
As soon as you're done with the trade, it's just leave. Are you still here? But that's also another thing for the garrison hopping. If you don't have a guild or something, and you're just doing it with people in trade, that's pretty much the feeling. It's, you got the quest? Good. Now leave. And now you're charging people to come to your garrison and all that stuff. It kind of does that. I mean, I don't have to talk to someone to pick up a quest in their garrison. I just have to say, hey, invite me. I'll pay you 10 gold. Then I pick up the quest and I leave.
I never thought about charging people for this stuff.
Yeah, you can. I mean, there's nothing saying you can't. There's a lot of lonely people out there that need the quests. You can find those lonely people that have no friends at all in an MMO. Just find those people that have no friends, take advantage of them. 10 gold, and I'll invite you to my garrison, and you can have at it with my vendor.
The same vendor you have, just in a different
Just don't think this makes us friends. I mean, it's a good opportunity to be social, but it's also a good opportunity to sort of make a quick buck off people who aren't social. So it's kind of a mixed thing, but overall, I really don't have any like major qualms with it. I'm not going to say, oh, remove this now, or anything like that, to that effect.
Right.
But it's got its good sides, bad sides. I kind of like where they're going with garrisons. It's just, I have problems with them. But, like, plenty of problems. But I could see there's a lot of potential for them in the future.
The problem I have with the garrison is it takes you away from the being surrounded by people. You're not in an MMO anymore. You're in a first-person game, or a single-player game, sorry. That it just so happens to have other NPCs, quote-unquote, talking in a trade chat.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what it feels like. I want them to do a guild garrison. I know they said they need to figure out how to make it so it's not just the guild master and officers who have control over it.
Yeah, so you're not just visiting something that you feel like you have no control over. It's like,
right.
Oh, they got the ice cream vendor. I want the hot dog vendor.
Right. I mean, I think a way that can be handled.
Blizzard, that's a good idea. How's that?
Hot dog vendor and ice cream vendor, huh?
Hot dog vendor, ice cream vendor. Do it.
They gotta be gnomes selling shit.
Nothing says come to my garrison like a fresh hot dog or ice cream cone or fresh wieners.
The way they can
come to my garrison, fresh wieners, all you can eat.
I
don't know if you can hear that. Anyway, moving on from hot dogs.
The way they can do the guild garrison is every member has a room, basically.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It has little knickknacks, I guess you could call it, for them. And, you know, by doing money and all stuff, you can have like a vote thing going on or something to get the ice cream vendor or the hot dog vendor.
Yeah.
Just something that shows that you're an MMO.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by friends.
Yeah, there's potential for that. I kind of feel like garrisons as they are now, kind of feel like it's a good testing ground for, like Blizzard has said they may not carry garrisons over to next expansion. They've pretty much said that, and I like that. It's okay. We've done this. We figured out what works, what doesn't work. Let's move on. And the next step could be guild or player housing next expansion.
Well, garrisons are already basically player housing.
Yeah, they're basically player housing. Like smaller player housing. Maybe they'll think, oh, we'll have smaller player housing, and they could connect those smaller houses into a guild house or something. Or, like you said, you have your own personal space within the total guild hall. That'd be a nice feature. But it's like, as they go, I'm not really ready to judge overall what I think of garrisons until we get to the end of the expansion and I see where it's going. Like I'll mention like bugs and stuff, but like right now there's not a lot of customization in your garrison. It's if you're horde, it's ugly as shit, for instance.
That's why I should roll alliance, but yeah.
But we don't know where they're going. Like 6.2, we could have like a lot cooler looking buildings for both Horde and Alliance, and a lot more custom. Like they've said, they're going to add more customization options to the Garrison in 6.2.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of changes coming in 6.2 for Garrisons, and I feel like as this expansion progresses, because it's a new thing, they're flipping and flopping on it, all that. It's a brand new thing. They're trying to get the hang of it just as much as we are. So I'm interested to see where they take it. But yeah, I would like to see like a guild thing where like maybe there's an instance portal where people can go to their own personal room for a little bit, or Guildmaster send you to your room.
I would love to do that to people.
Go to your room.
I would do that too.
Just someone takes like a gold from the guild vault, and you're just like, go to your room. Be kind of cool.
It would.
Just to have something like that, but for now, I'm okay with Garrisons, just as long as they don't get too comfortable with Garrisons. Because like you said, it does take you out of the total world, like the actual MMO aspect. And that's what they were afraid of, too. Every time the player housing was requested on forums, if there was a blue post, it was always pretty much to the same tone of, what about the MMO part? Are we going to take you out of the MMO part if we give you this player housing? And they did when they released Garrisons, but I like this Garrison hopping thing. It's a step in the right direction. They could eventually come to a point where Garrisons are more social, have more people in it. Like maybe they'll add something to the follower board where you can actually assign guildies special tasks for you to do for you. Like,
I like that idea.
Like, hey, like write a little note on your missions board that says, hey, I have to work all day today, but I really wanted to get this done. Can you do it for me? And then have the other guildies can see it, and they can have a little accept or decline button. And maybe they could do it for you. Like, I need this much cloth today, but I really don't have time to do it. Can you help me out? And they do it. They come back to the mission board. They put the cloth in, and it goes to you, or something like that. Maybe they get XP or something for it, or guild rep, or something like that. I mean, it's not a perfect idea, but it could be refined.
Right.
It's something like that would be nice. A little more interaction with the guild, or just other players in general would be nice. A little addition to help out with that. And there's a lot of other things they could do to sort of help it out with Garrisons as they are now. I mean, if they're not going to just go with Guild Garrison mid-expansion. Just like, you know what? We're fed up with this. Guild Garrison. Done.
Oh, one can only dream.
But it's just like the rest of the game. It's evolving. You just got to kind of see where it goes. Kind of try and put your word on the forums. Guide it. And try and hope it becomes something good. You get your $15 a month worth. Speaking of problems I have with Garrison, have you ever noticed when you sit down in a lot of the seats of the Garrison, you clip?
I have a problem when my camera just goes into the wall.
That too. It's especially with like Dreanor. If they sit in their seat in the Garrison, they are actually sitting through the back of the seat. Oh, and speaking of Draenei sitting, the male Draenei.
I'm scared.
Do you have a male Draenei?
No.
Well, let me tell you about what happens when they sit. Okay, you're on a male Draenei. You have a normal face, like you know the basic expression, neutral expression that most characters have when they have a normal face. They're just walking along. They see a seat. Oh, hey, I want to rest my feet for a bit. You sit down, and all of a sudden on your face appears this really creepy, goofy grin that makes you think he's up to something. Just hey, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I'm gonna rape you. They just have the pedo grin. Yeah. Yeah, it's like he's never been happier. He's just never been happier. He's like, I'm sitting. I'm sitting.
Okay.
It's like he's happy just to be able to sit with having hooves. Just to be able to manage the act of sitting.
Wow.
You got to check it out sometime.
I will.
That's a little gem. You have to check it out.
So on that sitting male Draenei gem, I think that's wrapping up time for us for the 0-0 episode.
Aw.
We
So much fun.
Right. We originally planned to do this every 2 weeks. We can revisit it. Maybe we'll do it every week. It's still in the planning phases right now. We just want to do our first episode called a pilot episode to see how it goes.
I think it went pretty well.
So do I. There was a lot of laughter.
Yes.
A lot of laughter.
Male Draenei sitting.
Mike, where can they find you at?
Right now, good luck. But as I get my channel going, I'm probably gonna make a separate Facebook page because I don't want to use my personal one.
Right.
I just opened a Twitter account.
And what is that?
It's at Master Nelf Rogue. As my wife looks at me concerned.
Master of all the Night Elf Rogues.
That's basically my YouTube channel too. That's kind of the reason why I've stuck with that for my Twitter, because I had already used that for my YouTube and I didn't feel like changing it.
Right.
So I'm just going with it, even though it is kind of meh.
No, it's not bad.
When I get my Twitter going, not Twitter. Yes, when I get my Twitter going, videos are going to show up.
You can post videos on Twitter. You can post links to YouTube videos, but yeah.
Once I get my YouTube channel going, I'm probably going to just post a lot there, and I'll probably start opening some more social channels, get email and all that stuff. But for right now, I can be tweeted at, I guess. I don't know if I'll check it often, but...
Well, see what you do is you put it on your phone. You download the Twitter app, and every time somebody tweets at you, it goes tweet.
I have a slight problem with that. You know how everyone else has a smartphone? I have a dumb phone.
You're dead to me. You can follow me on Twitter at mystic_1105.
Yes, follow him.
Go check out my website, mystic1105.com.
Yes, follow him. He has a smarter phone than me.
Oh, wow. So...
I'm sorry, I can't afford a smartphone. Mine's stupid.
Would you like to say goodbye, Mike?
Would I like to say goodbye?
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, just keep it going. Yeah, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Get out of my garrison. Goodbye.